Hey there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy and Happy Wellness Wednesday. Today I'm going to help make a delicious dinner with you and your family members. And if you're here and you have the ingredients, make it with me, all right? Because that's how simple this is. Today we're going to actually be making this recipe straight from my Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. If you've been here a while, you know the drill. This comes right from my cookbook. I write a new monthly Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook every single 30 days. I'm just right around the finishing bend of finishing October's book, and it's lit, if I may just use that term. It's going to be really good. I'm really excited about all these recipes because I take a lot of time to develop them, and especially the dinner days. Wednesdays are always dinner days where we actually prepare something that's more substantial. So today we're going to be making a Soka chickpea crust pizza. Soka is a really fancy term for a chickpea pancake made with chickpea flour or graham flour. So this is really the only weird ingredient in the whole recipe. I usually don't actually use anything like this. Occasionally though, because I want to showcase the goodness of some of these delicious flours that are not as common. So let's get into it. And if you've never been here before, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today, wherever you are joining me in the world. And if you're here, say hello and tell me where you're joining me from. And if you have questions along the way about plant-based eating or living, just put them right into the comment box because I can see who's here and I would love to answer your questions and start a dialogue. It's all about community and that's what we're building. And I'm really, really happy that you're a part of it. So let's get started with our batter. We need to make our Soka crust or batter. This is a really easy batter. The first thing that you're going to need, like I said, is this graham flour, also known as chickpea flour. Now, I get this from Thrive Market, but I'm going to put a link on my Amazon influencer page for a different brand. Chickpea flour can be found in a lot of different grocery stores, usually in the ethnic aisle, although I hate that term. It's usually where it's at. Also in health food stores, you can find this a lot. Now, the cool thing about this specific flour is this is organic and it's sprouted, which means that the chickpeas themselves have been sprouted and the nutrients that are intact are actually more bioavailable in our body when we sprout things. And you can sprout anything from beans to nuts to flour to popcorn even, and it makes it more healthy for us because we can actually absorb the nutrients. As simple as that. So this doesn't have a change of flavor, the fact that it's sprouted, it just makes it more nutrient dense. That's why I like it. So you want a cup of chickpea flour, and I'm going to do half the recipe because I only have a really small cast iron, but that's the other thing that you'll need. You'll need some sort of cast iron skillet. Now I'm using a 6.5 inch. Is usually like a single serve. It's great for camping and stuff like that because you can put it right on a barbecue, put it right on coals, put it right on an open fire, and you can also put it directly in your oven. So we're going to use this. And those are the things that you'll need, all right? Hi, Diane, and hi, Jennifer. Good to see you. All right, Jennifer's coming from West Michigan. First time joining. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. All right, so I have half a cup of my graham flour or chickpea flour. It's known in other parts of the world as graham flour. I think we're the only country here in the United States. I'm the only country, I should speak for myself, that calls it chickpea flour or garbanzo bean flour. But graham flour is how it's known. I'm going to use half a cup. And then you want to add lukewarm water. I'm going to use half a cup as well. So one to one ratio of the flour to water. This is lukewarm. I'm going to use half a cup of this. This is a full cup, so I'm going to make sure I'm only adding half. And I'm actually like really making sure I'm only going to add half. If this is too chunky, it's not going to work. And if it's too thin, it's not going to work. So that's half a cup right there. And then the last thing that we want is just a bit of sea salt. If in fact you're eating sea salt, if you're not whole food plant-based, a lot of people in this community are whole food plant-based. Kudos to you if you are. Find your favorite salt substitute in that case. But I'm going to use sea salt because I'm not salt-free. And then I'm going to give it a little whisk with a little whisk here. No pun intended. It is a little whisk. And I'm going to give it a little whisk. Oh my gosh, I'm silly. Okay, just give this a mix. And you're going to see it's the perfect consistency. It's a really thick, easy, quick batter. Now, if you wanted to, you could season this up. Make it your own, as I say. It's really important. You can add curry powder. You can add dried herbs. You could even do cinnamon sugar if you wanted at this point. Whatever you want, add it. I'm going to keep it nice and plain because that's how I want it. All right, so my oven is preheating to 450 degrees. I'm using my toaster oven here, but you can use your regular standard oven. 450 degrees, you want it to be super duper hot. And it's actually just about preheated at this point. And now what I want to do is I want to take my cast iron and I want to coat it with a little bit of fat. In this case, I'm going to use olive oil, but you can use coconut oil, you can use avocado oil, it doesn't matter. So here's my options. I have avocado oil is here, this is the light, and I have the extra virgin olive oil. Both of these are high in ALA. Those are the, I can't even pronounce the whole thing without looking at the screen. These are the omega fatty acids that are really, really good for us. They're called ALAs, and they're really good. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. Of course, if you're whole food plant-based, also you probably aren't using oil. You can skip this step. Or if you found your favorite oil substitute, use that. Just 2 tablespoons, and really, you guys, this is just to coat. Think about this pancake or chickpea soca crust as kind of like a big crepe or a thick crepe. That's it. Now you can add a little bit of oil to your batter at this point too. The cool thing about this batter is that it's going to last up to 24 hours, so you don't have to use it right away. But before you use it, right before you use it, add a splash of fat. I'm going to use a little bit more olive oil, but you can use your favorite oil substitute, whatever that is. You could even use plant-based butter, I suppose, anything. All right, now this is ready. Let me grab a little spoon here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spoon the batter onto the oil, onto the cast iron. And I'm just kind of like, you can see that I'm doing this. I'm kind of just folding it all the way to the edges, or swirling it rather to the edges. You know what I say, coast to coast. I often say that when I'm spreading things on bread or bagels or whatever, coast to coast, but
wall to wall.
And wall to wall. Which do you like better, coast to coast or wall to wall? Which speaks to your heart? Which speaks to your spirit more? I think I like coast to coast. It reminds me of, I'm a Californian at heart, but I spent a long time in New York. That's where I trained as a chef and cooked in restaurants in New York City. So I love coast to coast. It sort of defines my journey. All right, this looks beautiful. Now, last thing that you want to do, it kind of looks like hummus, right? Just like in the pan. It's not though. It's chickpea batter. All right, so the last thing that you can do if you want, I'm just gonna like tap it. I'm tapping this to release all the bubbles. Seems like a pretty thick batter. And so with a thick batter, I can really see that there's no bubbles. I can't really see underneath, but that's what this is gonna do. It's really gonna prevent any other bubbles from popping up. All right, this is gonna go into a 400-degree oven for about 12 minutes. All right, and let that do its thing. You can also put this right on a barbecue, like a grill, an outdoor grill, an indoor grill, whatever you want. You can cook it on the stove top completely, but I like the oven. I like cast iron in the oven because it's going to create like a nice crispiness, kind of like makes a nice crust all the way around. It's really delicious. All right, so now that we have that, let's talk about our toppings. This is going to be a pizza after all. So I brought my favorite toppings and you can make it your own, but let's talk through some of them. The first thing that I want is my sauce. You can of course use tomato sauce, which I have right here. You guys, if you're gonna use tomato sauce and you're living here in the United States, make sure that you're gonna get any tomatoes or tomato products that are labeled USDA organic. All right. Now, why do I say this for tomatoes? It's really important that certain ingredients like tomatoes, canola, soy, these are genetically modified organisms that are grown here in the United States. And when I say that, I mean 90+% of the crops that are grown here in the United States for the crops that I just listed are GMO'd, meaning they come from seed that's been genetically modified in some way, shape, or form. Now, this is not all bad. I've mentioned this a lot of the times, and I've never actually mentioned some of maybe the benefits that come from this. Well, the costs outweigh the benefits, and that's why I don't mention any of the benefits. But let me just take a second and explain, well, why are things GMO'd in the first place? The reason being is because when you can genetically modify a seed, what it does is that it makes it easier to grow. It enables it, or rather disables it, from having any obstacles in its field. So it's going to prevent bugs from crawling and eating it. It's going to prevent certain chemicals from killing the root ball, or any part of the actual living plant itself. And so those are some of the benefits. And so what we've ended up finding over the last 50 years with industrial agriculture is that with GMO'd seeds, we can actually grow more. We can yield more. Now, here are the costs, and this is much more important for you to know. The costs are, we found out that GMO ingredients, seed or plants that have actually started with a GMO seed, really wreak havoc on not only the soil, but the gut microbiome. That's this part right here. I'm actually talking about the gut. Now, the gut is a very, very important part of the body. It's something we don't give enough credence and credit to at this point, but we are leaning in that direction. We're finding all this new research related to the gut microbiome. All of us are very bio-individual, meaning we have our own set of bacteria that reside in our gut. Most of the gut bacteria are good bacteria if you're healthy. And if you aren't healthy, then you probably have an overgrowth of bad bacteria. Now, I don't like to give value propositions for anything, not for food, not for people, not for anything. And I certainly don't want to do it for bacteria. But in this case, we sort of can. Because in terms of the good and bad bacteria, we absolutely want to have more good bacteria than bad. And one of the ways to do that is to enjoy produce that is organic, truly, that doesn't have any genetically modified organisms within its cell structure. Really important, especially for tomatoes. Tomatoes are, in the United States, over 95% GMO. We don't want that. So get yourself organic. That was a very long rant for GMOs, but I hope that you learned something. And so now, instead of using tomato sauce, because that's a little boring, what you can do is you can add pesto to the base of your chickpea crust pizza. Now, I have some spicy pesto here. This goes by the name of Zug, and I love Zug. Here's what it looks like. If you buy it from Trader Joe's, you can also find it at Whole Foods. And I also have found it at certain ethnic markets. And it is Zug. It says it right there. It's ZHOUG. And what it is, it's a Yemenite pesto. It contains really beautiful ingredients like cilantro, coriander, chili flakes, and cardamom, and a little sea salt. And it is very spicy and it's very herbaceous. So it's kind of like pesto meets the Middle East, and it's called Zug. It's really, really good. So I'm going to use a little Zug. And then for our veggie toppings, I might use a little sun-dried tomatoes. The way that recipe is written is you can use fresh tomatoes. It doesn't really matter. And I might use some black olives. I absolutely adore olives. You can use green olives, black olives. It don't matter. I think I'm going to chop these up. You know, just let me go down memory lane here for a second. When I was a kid, my stepmom and dad had a pool at our house growing up. And I remember I would sit in that pool like all day, every day on hot weather. And as the weird kid that I would sit on the deep end and I would float, and I would sometimes like keep a little bowl of snacks near the end of the pool. And sometimes that snack was black olives right from the can. Very strange snack for a little kid. Very strange snack. That's how I think my parents knew that I was heading to be a chef. I was like destined to do this because I was kind of obsessed with foods. I would like get into foods and I would like just eat them. Just olives or just pastries. I don't know if my stepmom's on the line. I'm going to see. No, Rosie, you're not here. But if you watch this back, Rosie, do you remember the like, you know, stage that I was in when I would only eat pastries? And my stepmom would come into the bedroom and she would say, now, I think you should try to make a better, healthier choice for the rest of the day. You've had enough pastries. Very, very sweet about it. So I was a weird kid. Why did I bring that up? Oh, to tell you that I would swim eating black olives out of the can. Also very Sicilian, very Italian. I can't let it go. That's just in me. All right. So these are my ingredients. And then to make this even fresher and to make this even healthier, I might add like a little greens on top. I love a classic flatbread pizza or a piadini, which is truly just flatbread pizza that has a salad on top. And you can actually eat the pizza like rolled up like a taco or a burrito and like eat it. And it's like a pizza on the bottom with salad stuffed in the middle. And so I actually want a little of that on my pizza. I love fresh greens on my pizza because it helps to fill me up. I eat a lot less of the dough or the bread. And I tend to eat you know, just like 1 or 2 pieces as opposed to 7 pieces because I have salad. And so it helps me to fill up. And this salad is full of micro and macronutrients. It's full of fiber. It's got a lot of great iron. You can use any dark leafy green you want, or any green really, but I think the dark leafy greens are the best. I'm going to use arugula today. This is baby wild arugula. And wild arugula is more antioxidant rich. I want to show you what a baby arugula piece looks like. Now, you've all seen regular arugula. It kind of looks like this, also known in other parts of the world as rocket. Now, rocket is much bigger leaf. This is baby arugula. And wild arugula tends to have a very similar structure. That's a piece, but it also has like little tiny bits. It has like flowers. It looks kind of like little weeds, but they're very, very good for us, and they contain a ton of fiber. So I'm just going to dress this up, a little bit of olive oil, like a dash, like 2 teaspoons. That's it. I don't want to overdress this. This is going to have a lot of dressing in the, it's going to have a lot of stuff and a lot of flavor from the pizza. A little sea salt or your favorite salt substitute. I'd love to know, what are your favorite salt substitutes? I'm hearing a lot of people are whole food plant-based in the community that are watching. Do you have your favorite salt sub? What are you using these days? Like, what's good? I actually found a couple cool salt substitutes at Thrive Market that I'm going to purchase, and they're being shipped, and I'll show you when I get them. They're really great. If you have an idea, or if you have a salt substitute that you like, write it in the chat box. Oh, I love, Diane says she likes Coast to Coast because she's from Pennsylvania, but born in NYC. Love it. Oh, we have Cindy that's joining us from Nevada. Thank you so much for joining us. And Wendy, hello, another Nevada-ian? Nevada-in? I don't know. Cindy says, I'm listening from Nevada. Yes, I already read that. Thank you so much, Cindy. I appreciate you. And Natalie, hello. All right, I'm going to use a little bit of balsamic vinegar to dress this. I want a little fat and a little acid. So the fat was just the extra virgin olive oil. Now I'm going to use a little bit of this balsamic vinegar. I use this one from Trader Joe's. I really like. Can you get the picture? I love Trader Joe's. I love it because it's 30% less than a traditional retailer. Do I sound like a commercial? It's so true. You can super save. You can super save at Trader Joe's, so you should. I love Trader Joe's because I always feel like I'm an abundant woman walking out there with my like 17 grocery bags, and I've only spent like a nickel. I'm like, yeah, Trader Joe's. All right, so a little bit of lime juice. That's the other part of the acid that I want. Lemon juice, not lime, or I guess you could do lime. Really good stuff. Just let this sit. You can like literally mix it with your fingers just to coat it. This is a light dressing. This is not like a creamy ranch or a Caesar. Anything like that would be way too heavy with the zug or the pesto or the tomato sauce and all the toppings. And we're also going to add cheese to our pizza. So let's talk about the cheese. Let's see. We have 3 more minutes on our crust. How you guys doing? Feeling okay? No, really. How are you feeling? Let me know. Drop it in the comment box. How are you doing on this plant-based journey? Like, what's new for you? Have you found any new recipes that you're loving, aside from, I'm sure, some of mine? Have you found anything that you're loving, that you're going back to over and over again? Tell me, please. All right, I'm going to put the arugula aside. I'm going to compost my little lemon piece. Now, let's talk cheese. One of the things that I hear from people a lot is that either you're an animal eater or you're a vegetarian, and you could never imagine a world without dairy products. Yes? That was me 6 months ago, I promise. As a chef, I loved milk and dairy and yogurt and sour cream and farmer's cheese and cream cheese. Like, I literally could not imagine a world without dairy products. And then I became plant-based on April 1st, 2020, and my entire life changed. I felt happier. I felt lighter on my feet. All of a sudden, I knew that I was like living the life that I always desired. I was living the life and I was sharing my journey with other people. Well, during this process, another cool thing occurred. I was able to take all of my experience as a chef and an integrative nutrition health coach, and I was able to develop recipes for these classic staple ingredients. These are things like cheese, yogurt, milk, and bread, things that sometimes can be huge obstacles that will literally prevent people from going plant-based or going vegan. And I wanted to create recipes that were so stupid, silly, simple, that literally anybody could do it with a few simple ingredients. So I've created the most amazing 4 staple recipes, you guys. I want them to be in every single monthly cookbook. So don't worry. If you buy this month, or you buy last month, or you buy next month, I hope you buy all 3. But any month that you buy, you're always going to get these recipes contained within the cookbook. You're always going to get yogurt, a recipe for milk, a recipe for cheese, and a recipe for homemade baked bread that you can bake in less than 45 minutes. You can literally make the dough and bake the bread and have a fresh baked loaf in less than 45 minutes. Well, the cheese can be made in less than 10 minutes. So I have made the cheese here, and I'm just going to show you. Don't look at this. This is the bottom, but this is in the cheese mold, and I'm going to take it out. I made this yesterday, and this is so easy. What you want to do is you actually want to run cashews, only a half a cup, under hot water. I'm going to grab a paper towel. And then after you run it over the hot water, you're doing that to remove any of the cashew flavor. Then what you want to do is add those cashews without the water into a blender. Meanwhile, on the stovetop, you have about 1.5 cups of water that's coming to a boil. And let that come to a boil. And then while you're, hold please. There we go. While you're waiting for your water to boil, you're going to add other ingredients. Really simple. You're going to add a tablespoon of nutritional yeast, some sea salt. You're going to add kappa carrageenan, which is on my Amazon page. If you're wondering what it is, it's a gelling agent that's totally vegan and comes from red algae, right from the sea. And you're going to blend these ingredients together. You're going to pour in a little lemon juice and all of your 1.5 cups of boiling water right into the blender. Put the top on. Don't forget that step or you'll have cheese all over your walls. And you're going to cover it with the blender and you're going to turn it on. And it takes 3 seconds, if in a Vitamix at least, to come to a smooth mixture. That's it. You're then going to pour it into a mold. Now, I love to use these Pyrex bowls because they're great for storage and they're great for cheese molds, apparently. You want at least 3 cups a container that will hold at least 3 cups of liquid. In this case, it's the cheese liquid. And you want it to be glass so that you don't have any plastic particles that are seeping into the cheese itself. Always glass, or BPA-free plastic. And that's it. You pour it on. You can see this is now the bottom and we have a wheel of cheese. This is so easy, you guys. There's really no excuse anymore. I know in market, it is very expensive to buy traditional plant-based cheese, like very expensive. Like you can get up to 4 to 6 ounces for sometimes $8, $9, $15. That's a lot of money if you calculate your cost per ounce. And as a chef, I'm constantly thinking about that for you. I want you to know that this is actually very inexpensive. And I have to tell you, it's even better than anything I've found in market. I stand behind that claim and I hope that you'll try it so that you'll believe me. So you'll have a full wheel and I'm never gonna use a full wheel all at once. So I'm gonna slice it in half. And now I just want to store 1/2. You can actually store 1/2 of your cheese, store it in paper towel first. This is going to remove any of that excess water and it will keep removing it and removing all that excess water as it sits. And then you can take your favorite sustainable wrap. I love this beeswax wrap. This is really cool stuff. You could also use these storage bags. You can put one of your wheels of cheese that you're actively using in the clear bag and then the one that you're storing in the teal bag. They come in all different colors. All I ask is that you get rid of this stuff. This stuff is nonsense. It's nonsense. To think about at this point in the year 2020, during a global pandemic, where's all this going to go? All this plastic, it's sitting in the landfill. And it's now overfilling the landfill and it's going into our oceans. Enough's enough. We've got to be more sustainable with our choices, not only in cooking and foods and the ways that we eat, but the ways that we store food, the makeup that we put on our bodies, the cleaning agents that we use in our homes, anything, right? We have to think about these things more consciously. It's really just a heart opening. And I'm telling you, you go plant-based and all of this is going to start happening to you naturally. That's certainly been the case for me, and that's certainly been the case for many other people here in this community. So I have my stored cheese, and I have my active cheese that I'm going to use. I'm just going to take off a few slices, and I think my crust is done. I just want 3 or 4 slices because it's going to be a tiny little pizza. Remove it. Yum, yum, yum. Take a look at this. Just want to show you, it's bubbling, it's delicious. It's that perfect golden brown chickpea soca crust. That's exactly what it should look like. I want to top it with some things and pop it right back into the oven. I'm going to top it with a little bit of this zug. Remember, it's spicy and delicious. Go all the way, coast to coast or wall to wall, all the way. Add a little bit of the cheese. Oh dear. It's perfect. Add some sun-dried tomatoes, packed in oil or dry packed, however you like it. Some olives. Back into the oven it goes, just to melt this cheese. And this is going to be done in a mere matter of seconds. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and store the rest of my active cheese that I'm going to be using. I call it active cheese. Oh man, this is like the chef in me. That means I'm actively going to be using this week. This is going to spoil rather quickly because it doesn't have any preservatives. Listen, I can't be all things for you, and all these recipes can't be like, they can't last forever, right? So this is good that it's going to spoil quickly. It's going to encourage you to enjoy it in many different recipes. And if you can't eat it right away, just freeze it. It's really great coming right out of the freezer. It stays perfectly great in the freezer. So that is going to just go to the side. I'm going to clear my decks here, and then let's plate. I love to plate in the cast iron, but I think I'm going to take it out of the cast iron and put it on a little plate and then chop it into slices for us so we can enjoy it. When I say we, I mean me. I'm just going to grab let's see, I think I want a nice big plate for this. I think that this small plate might actually do the trick. Yes, I think it will. This has a little lip too, so the pizza won't come flying off. I love this. This is going to be so great. It smells so great. Hi, Marie. Good to see you. All right. So we're almost done. We're nearly there. How's it going? You guys feeling okay? You guys ready to see me do this? Let me just take a quick peek. It needs a few more minutes. It needs just a few more minutes. Let me tell you what's on the docket for the rest of the week. Yeah. You guys, we're finishing September strong. We've had a really great month. We've gained a lot of new members to our Facebook group called Plant-Based Made Easy. Free, amazing, wonderful group of people from all over the world. I hope that you'll consider joining us for that. For the rest of the week, we have tomorrow is our snack day because it's Thursday. I'm going to show you how to make an everyday avocado ranch dip. This is so good. You can use it for so many different things, definitely for all your dipping needs, but it's a great sauce. It's a great salad dressing as well. So I'm going to show you that tomorrow. And then we're going to end the week with our apple spice crumble bars because now we're really getting to this like turn of the season. It was just the autumn equinox. I don't know if you celebrated. I certainly got a chance to celebrate. And it's the full moon tomorrow. I'm very excited. So if you want to celebrate, you might consider celebrating with some apple spice crumble bars. They're going to be really great. And then the staple recipe for this week is our quick baked bread. I mentioned it earlier. You can have fresh baked bread in less than 45 minutes. It's so good. This is so foolproof. You literally throw everything in the mixer, let it sit for 10 minutes, come back to it, braid it up like a challah, roll it into loaves, roll it into buns, make it dinner rolls, whatever you want. Add what you want. Add any toppings, poppy seeds, sesame seeds. Enjoy yourself. Knock your socks off with that bread and enjoy it. And then one final journal writing exercise. If you're curious, this week I'm asking you to describe how it felt before, during, and after the cooking process of all the meals that you cooked this week. Did you learn anything new this week as it related to your health? And is there anything else you'd like to share? This was a really great, I think, month experiment for many of you. It was certainly another month experiment for me. I'm taking you along on this journey, and I'm getting a lot out of the process. I'm learning that cooking can be fun again. I'm falling in love with food again in a totally new way, which is like very surprising. And I'm just in general feeling like my food is my power source. I have a newfound relationship with food, and it's totally different than it ever has been before. Are you feeling the same way? I truly am curious. I'm hearing this from a lot of people that they are also feeling the same way. Yeah. Natalie asks, I just bought a big bag of apples. Perfect. Off topic, but I can't help but notice your knife collection on the wall behind you. I have to know where you got them. Yeah, these are called Chef's Vision knives. I'm going to step away so you can see. It is a rainbow collection, and these are actual NASA images of the cosmos. And I love the rainbow cosmos, hence my tattoo. It's rainbow. And I absolutely love these knives, honestly, because it connects me to our greatness. Every single time I look at my chef's knife, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a part of that. I'm a part of that starship. I'm a part of the cosmos in the same way that, well, Natalie, you're a part of me and I'm a part of you. So thank you for asking. If you want these knives, you can get them on my Amazon influencer page. They're really cool knives. They stay sharp for a very long time, and they come with a very cool, handy storage box if you're interested. Thank you for asking. And I'm glad that you got some apples. That means that you're making the apple crumble bars. You have to make them. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, this looks great. This looks so yummy. No, I need a few more minutes. Do you mind? Do you mind waiting just a few more minutes? I'm just gonna let that sit there. Yeah, let's do another question. Okay, Jennifer asked, I missed it. What type of cheese do you use for the recipe? Jennifer, we made our own. This cheese that I'm using is mozzarella, and it comes from my Plant-Based Made Easy monthly cookbook. And it's just like mozzarella, meaning it's gonna melt like mozzarella. It tastes like cow's milk mozzarella. I swear you would not be able to tell a difference. Truly, you will not be able to tell a difference between this and the real deal. That's a really good thing. That means the recipe is easy enough and it's super duper simple ingredients, like clean eating for sure. Even the kappa carrageenan, which is all based from red algae. So if you want this recipe, you can actually download it from my Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. And if you wanted to actually use this cheese, I give you different recommendations on the bottom of the recipe of how you can make this firmer if you wanted a more firm cheese, or how you can make it even more melty. There's even a process that you can go through to make tiny little mozzarella balls. They're really, really good. I love making little tiny mozzarella balls and then keeping them just like in a little saltwater brine, just like you would see at the grocery store. Boy, that buffalo mozzarella that you usually get at the grocery store, or the congili, which are the little mozzarella balls, those are very expensive. Usually the container is like 4 ounces and it's about $10. And it really bothers me to spend that kind of money with food. It's not that I don't want to support the food itself or the people that create the food. It's that I know the true cost of food. And I know that with a few simple ingredients, I not only can make it healthier, but I can probably make it a little bit better as well. So I stand behind these claims because I've tested it so many times. It's amazing. Oh, and just on the topic, I should mention, I just made a second batch of my yogurt. The yogurt is the first staple ingredient in every monthly Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook. And you guys, this yogurt is so darn delicious. Like, truly tastes like Greek yogurt, like fage, however you pronounce it, like the Greek yogurt that I used to buy all the time that was made with cow's milk. It's delicious. It's super flavorful. It's unsweetened, so you can actually use it as a substitute for sour cream. You could use it as a substitute for mayo, and like if you don't want mayo in your recipe and you just want something with more probiotics that has that tang, like yogurt or sour cream, you would replace it with this yogurt. It's so great. You can use it for baked goods. You can use it on granola. Really yummy. So I keep trying these recipes. I make the staples, the monthly staples. I make them every single month with you because I want to see, well, how can I change them and how can I make them better? I've actually changed the bread recipe. I simplified it a little bit more. I simplified the yogurt recipe, and I've simplified the mozzarella cheese recipe again and again, just to kind of streamline it, just because I want to make it easy for you. I'll do all that though. All you have to do is, well, make it. All right, I think my pizza's done. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yes. Take a little look. Now, this is a Soko chickpea crust pizza. I could leave it in a little longer to melt this cheese, but you can see it's ooey gooey and melty. Do you see that? Cheese is ooey gooey. Let me show you. See how ooey gooey it is? Yum. All right, take this out very carefully using a non-stick spatula. Kind of run it around the bottom. This part is tricky, I will admit. This last part, getting it out. Run your spatula all the way. Cast iron, I think, works best, but anything with a non-stick or a slippy grip. So non-stick is great. Make sure that it's chemical free. Make sure it's healthy for you. Make sure if you have an old non-stick, oh man, I lost some of it, but that's okay. This looks beautiful. Beautiful. This is super hot. I'm going to place it down. Yummy. Look at this. Yeah? I'm going to slice it in half. Yeah. Natalie says, OM goodness, that looks amazing. My 5-year-old would go crazy over this. You know, your 5-year-old would go crazy over it even more too if she had the opportunity to make it with you, Natalie. So I hope that you'll allow her to do that. It's going to be really a fun project for you and your children or your partner or any of your loved ones. People love and admire their food even more when they can get their hands in it. All right, so I've plated this. This is a perfect little plate for it. You can top it with some arugula, which I think I am going to do just like this. Maybe I'll just do one side so you can take in the beautifulness of it. Gorgeous, right? Love this recipe so much. So great. So jam-packed with protein. Really yummy. Thanks for staying on a couple extra minutes longer. We usually try to make these episodes less than 30 minutes, but that cheese just needed a few more minutes. You can't rush good food, right? All right, I think I'm going to give this a little taste. Would you mind? I just need to try it just slightly. I don't know how I'm going to do this and then take a photo, but Danny, we are going to figure it out. A little bit of the sun-dried tomato. That goes right on. All right. I'm giving this a little taste test. Just want to give this food a little gratitude. I'm so grateful for this food. Thank you so much. Cheers. Mm. I mean, it's unbelievably good. It's crispy. It's chewy. It tastes like protein-rich crust. Like you can almost tell that it's made with some sort of bean flour in the perfect way. The cheese is ooey gooey and melty and delicious. That zug is yummy. It's really great that it's nice and spicy. I absolutely love this. You guys try this recipe, make it your own, have fun with it, and come back for more, will ya? I want to just, oh, we have two more comments. Two more comments. Natalie says she's always cooking and baking with me. Just bought her the Kids Star Pack Nylon Kitchen Knife Set from Amazon so she can help me prep more in the kitchen. Fantastic. I want to just offer to you, IKEA has an amazing lineup of cooking ware for kids that you can actually cook with, use on kids. Here's a part of their set. I actually had to buy it because it was so cute. It comes with these little tiny plates. They all have different colors. Lots of different pots and pans and stuff, and then a really great peeler and a knife that has a blunt edge. So in case you're ever looking for more, IKEA would be your best bet, Natalie. Nina says, hi, I've been quietly watching you cook. Love your recipes. I'm going to order your recipe books later. I especially want to make the cheese. Yeah, Nina, try it. And if you try it and you love it, let me know. Let us know in the community, you guys. And this just goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you want to see something, if you want to see me make something, let's say for the holidays, or you have a special dish or a classic recipe that your family makes, let me know about it. Literally, like DM me, email me, get in touch with me. I'm your support. I want to help you along your plant-based journey, and I want to help you take any classic recipe and healthify it. I'm loving the work that we're doing together. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Please come back for more, you guys. And until next time, go out there, have a wonderful rest of your day. Ciao for now. Peace.